5. Fist of the North Star.
Oh God, here's another one. You might not have seen it. I know I haven't. But Fist of the North Star. We all know it.
1986. In the mid-80s, anime was starting to gain a global foothold.
What's up, everybody? Celtic Character here, back with no reaction. Get those 10s and 20 views. I also have the NFL Game of the Week on my TV. Yeah, really, NFL Game of the Week. Bears, uh, Cowboys, not. Rams, Eagles, not. I forget who else was playing right now. Carolina, Atlanta, same quality. Today we are reacting to another channel I have never heard of. Telescope. Know nothing about this channel, but they do have 20.7k subscribers. So well done, well done. Golf clap, golf clap. There we go. But yeah, it's the title caught my eye, and it's 15 animated movies that were banned or censored from the 80s. Well, 15 animated movies from the 80s that were banned or censored. I am a big anime fan. The first Tuesday of the month on the main channel is Anime of the Month. Um, so yeah, that's what we got going on. So let's check it out. And how many of these have I heard of, or have you heard of? Let me know in the comment section. Also, if there's anything you want me to react to, it's in the comment section. And last and not least, channel logo is above me. The title is below me, and link in the description if you don't want to listen to me pause all the time. Let's get to it.
Morning cartoons.
Okay, I'm not hearing anything. Also, why aren't you in HD?
The 1980s.
Alright, what's going on? You know, it is highly important to turn on your speakers to be able to hear stuff. But let's get to it.
The 1980s weren't just about colorful Saturday morning cartoons. They were a decade when animation pushed boundaries, shocked audiences, and rattled censorship boards worldwide.
Oh yeah, some of those weird 80s.
From surreal,
Especially the kids from the 80s, like anybody who was born in the 80s, just a weirdo. Reminder, I was born in 1988.
real political allegories to ultra-violent cult hits, these animated films were banned,
Religion.
cut, or buried for years. Tonight, we're uncovering 15 explosive titles they never wanted you to see. 1.
Oh yeah, here we go. Here we go. 1, Heavy Metal from 1981. Honest, never heard of it. This looks very 80s. This also looks, just off the quick glance, there's a South Park episode where Kenny gets high, and most of the time people get high on cat piss. And it looks like this is where they go. Like, this is the world that they go to.
Heavy Metal, 1981. When Heavy Metal hit theaters in 1981, it was unlike anything audiences had ever seen. Adapted from the cult sci-fi and fantasy magazine of the same name,
Oh yeah, it definitely looks like that place from South Park. Also, the very 80s chin. Like, Timmy Turner's like Crimson Chin era.
this animated anthology embraced a counterculture ethos, unapologetically drenched in nudity, surreal violence, and heavy rock music. It was marketed to adults, but in many countries, animated films were still synonymous with children's entertainment. That disconnect ignited immediate outrage. In Canada, Ireland, and parts of South America, the
Oh, wow. Kind of shocked about Ireland, to be all honest. Wait, no. Heavy Catholic country. Yeah, never mind.
movie faced outright bans for what censors called pervasive sexual imagery and glorification of violence. Even in the United States, it faced distribution issues because its soundtrack featured major rock acts like Black Sabbath, Blue Oyster Cult, and Journey, creating rights complications that kept the film out of circulation for years.
Oh yeah. You see it here even on YouTube. Like, last week on our main channel, I do a Panthers fans react to Panthers highlights. Couldn't do it because they kept saying, like, yes, your 3-second clip from this play you cannot have because copyright claim. Copyright claim is a
The
bitch.
animation, often rotoscoped from live models, pushed boundaries with explicit depictions of alien seduction, drug-fueled hallucinations, and apocalyptic warfare. Critics dismissed it as adolescent fantasy. But its audience, a mix of sci-fi fans, metalheads, and midnight moviegoers, saw it as groundbreaking. Over time, heavy metal became a cult legend. The very content that censors tried to suppress helped it gain mythic status among underground animation enthusiasts. For many, it marked the moment when animation proved it could be unapologetically adult. Two wicked
I might have to. I'll also say if whether or not I would want to watch the movie. It has caught my interest. Um, but yeah, like even even when I was growing up, cartoons were still seen as like for kids. So like even though like Batman, Spider Man, Rugrats all had at times very adult themes at times. Cartoons are for kids. What are you doing still watching cartoons? Hell, I still hear it now. Like, you're almost 40 and you watch cartoons. What's wrong with you? I'm like, you watch The Real Housewife and no one gives two shits. Shut up.
City, 1987. When Japan's Wicked City arrived on Western shores, it brought something most audiences weren't ready for: a fusion of horror, science fiction, and explicit adult animation. Directed by Yoshiaki Kawajima.
I wonder if this also led to the inspiration of the first Silent Hill game, because Silent Hill is a fusion of Western horror and American horror, Japanese horror and American horror.
Jiri, this anime plunged viewers into a grim, alternate world where humans and demons coexist under a fragile peace treaty. Its graphic violence, grotesque transformations, and sexualized horror scenes made it a lightning rod for controversy. The United Kingdom heavily censored the film, removing minutes of footage that included disturbing sexual violence and gore. Australia
Oh wow, the UK censoring things. I'm not even shocked anymore.
and several European countries temporarily banned it, deeming it unsuitable for any public exhibition. Even the US release came with cuts, though a fully uncut version would later find a home on VHS, becoming an underground hit. Wicked City pushed animation into territory usually reserved for grindhouse cinema. Its stylized brutality and noir-inspired visuals earned it praise from genre fans, but also placed it in the crosshairs of politicians pushing anti-obscenity campaigns in the late 80s.
Oh god, yeah. The reason why you have like the parental warnings on like CDs and albums and the rating systems for video games. You can blame the parents of the 80s. They were, God, stick in the muds.
Over time, it has been reevaluated not just as exploitation, but as a stylish, provocative work that showed how far anime could go in exploring the dark corners of human and inhuman desire. 3.
Yeah, I have no interest in watching that one. It like even though like, the description of the movie is just kind of like that fringe. I've seen enough anime like that. Oh, Kira, an anime I need to watch because this is a cult classic. Like this one's good.
Akira, 1988. Katsuhiro Otomo's Akira wasn't just a movie. It was a cultural explosion. Based on his own manga, the film depicted a
AI bot voice manga. The A is weird.
cyberpunk Tokyo scarred by corruption, biker gangs, and psychic warfare. But its hyper-detailed, hand-drawn animation was matched by graphic violence that startled even seasoned sci-fi fans. In several European countries,
Well, yeah, you know people like sci-fi back then. CGI was really not that big of a thing, so you could get away with a lot more if you have the patience to do it anime than you could in like real life.
including Norway,
You still can, and I'm bait on making a video of like five movies that should be better animated as a TV series.
and Germany, Akira was initially censored for scenes of gore, dismemberment, and body horror. Australia released it with restrictions, and in the US, it was rated R but still drew criticism from parents unfamiliar with Japanese anime's adult edge. The film's
It was rated R. What do you expect?
climactic sequence, a grotesque transformation involving mutating flesh and collapsing architecture, became infamous, with some broadcasters cutting it entirely during TV airings. Yet these same sequences helped cement Akira as a landmark in animation history. The bans and edits didn't dampen its influence. Instead, Akira helped ignite the global anime boom, proving that animated films could rival live-action blockbusters in both scope and emotional power. Today,
Yeah, I bet you Akira definitely helped launch like Dragon Ball Z. I'm not Dragon Ball. Help Dragon Ball Z, yeah, because the animated Dragon Ball versus the animated Dragon Ball Z. Great, same story, much different tones. Where Dragon Ball was more like, I'm a kid with a tail and I want to learn martial arts and be the strongest and win the world martial arts tournament. To I need to go to a different planet to resurrect all my friends and defeat an evil alien, warlord. Crazy difference.
it's remembered as a turning point, one that forced censors to confront the fact that animation could be as raw, graphic, and politically charged as any live-action film. 4.
Yeah, it's one of those movies where it's like even if you've never seen the movie, you know that thumbnail of like the kid on a bike and the post-apocalyptic, the red bike and post-apocalyptic, where the wind blows. I feel like I might have seen this one.
When the Wind Blows, 1986. At first glance, When the Wind Blows looks like a gentle animated film. Its watercolor backgrounds, soft character designs, and elderly protagonists give it the appearance of a harmless family story. But beneath the warm visuals lies one of the bleakest nuclear war films ever made. Based on Raymond Briggs's graphic novel, the film follows Jim and Hilda Bloggs, an elderly couple in rural England, who try to survive after a nuclear strike. Their naive faith in government pamphlets and civil defense instructions slowly unravels as radiation sickness sets in. There are no monsters, no explosions after the opening, just the slow, inevitable deterioration of two innocent people. The movie's emotional gut.
Okay, I did not see this one, but this is definitely one of those movies where it's like, don't blindly trust your government. Oh yeah, I can wonder why countries were censoring this one.
Punch was too much for some. In several countries, including parts of Eastern Europe and even certain British television channels, the film was banned or restricted from public broadcast. Officials feared it would
How dare you question the almighty government? God.
fuel anti-nuclear sentiment and provoke public unrest during the tense final years of the Cold War. Its soundtrack, featuring David Bowie and Roger Waters of Pink Floyd, only deepened the film's melancholy atmosphere. Viewers who managed to see it often left shaken, some saying they couldn't watch another war film for years. While it never courted controversy with gore or nudity,
No, it just made people question if the government really had their best interests in play. And, the fallout of potential nuclear war is somewhere that's not like what happened in Japan.
when The Wind Blows was considered dangerous for another reason, it stripped away all illusions about surviving a nuclear war, delivering a message more devastating than any explosion. 5. Fist of the North Star.
Oh, God, here's another one. You might not have seen it. I know I haven't. But Fist of the North Star. We all know it.
1986. In the mid-80s, anime was starting to gain a global foothold, but Fist of the North Star made it clear that Japanese animation could be as violent as the goriest exploitation films. Adapted from the popular manga, the film tells the post-apocalyptic tale of
Every time this AI voice says it, just gives me a little twitch.
Kenshiro, a martial artist who uses lethal pressure point techniques to make his enemies literally explode. And that's no exaggeration. Heads burst, torsos rip open, and limbs fly with alarming regularity. While the manga was already infamous for its blood-soaked pages, the movie amplified the carnage through fluid animation and dramatic slow-motion sequences.
Oh, yeah. The animators for this film was just like, we're good. Are we going to twist it? No, leave it.
Censorship boards in several countries balked. In the UK, the BBFC demanded heavy cuts before granting a video release. Australia's version was slashed to pieces, with some scenes removed entirely. Even in Japan, the filmmakers toned down certain moments from the manga to avoid an outright ban.
Well, yeah, you tone down one or two things. You just don't outright cut things.
Fans, however, sought out bootleg and uncut versions, fueling the film's underground legend. For many anime enthusiasts in the West, Fist of the North Star became a rite of passage, proof that animation could deliver the same visceral impact as an R-rated action flick. Today it remains both a cult classic and a textbook example of why late 80s anime sparked global censorship debates. 6.
Yeah, anime and rap music is realistically the two things that sparked censorship. Barefoot Jing. Never heard of this one.
Barefoot Gen, 1983.
Jen, whatever.
Barefoot Gen isn't just another war film. It's one of the most harrowing animated depictions of real-life tragedy ever created. Based on Keiji Nakazawa's autobiographical manga, it recounts his childhood in Hiroshima during the atomic bombing. Unlike many war stories, it spares no detail in...
Well, yeah, because it's if his autobiography, yeah, I got nuked and survived. Here's how it really was. It's always going to be bad.
showing the horror. People burned alive, bodies disintegrating into ash, and the slow agony of radiation poisoning.
There's also shadows on the wall, still there.
First released in Japan, the film was hailed as a powerful anti-war statement. But when attempts were made to screen it internationally, particularly in the US and parts of Europe, backlash erupted. Some officials claimed it was too graphic for animation. Others...
Yeah, that's the biggest bull I ever hear. Like, it's too graphic for animation. Hi, I'm now an animated person. Hell, there's an animated adult VTubers.
accused it of anti-American bias. In the 2000s...
No. I'm pro-military. No, this is just cause and effect. We nuked Japan, and this is what one guy's story from surviving it was.
Decades after its release, Barefoot Gen even faced renewed censorship in Japanese schools, where some education boards removed it from reading lists for being too disturbing for children.
Oh, I'm sorry, Japan. How about you read what your own military did in China? How do you think we know how much the body is, what percentage of the body is made of water? Yeah, Japan weighed a guy, dried him out like a beef jerky and weighed him again. World War II. Japan was just as bad, if not worse, than the evil Germans.
Critics argued this was a political move to soften Japan's wartime history. Yet its emotional force is exactly what has kept it alive in cultural memory. Survivors have praised the film for showing the reality they lived through, unfiltered and unromanticized. Watching Barefoot Gen is not easy, but that's precisely the point. It forces audiences to confront the true human cost of war, in a way few animated films ever have. 7th.
Yeah, no, that definitely seems like a movie I might want to check out, but yeah, no. This is someone's autobiographical account. Like, I know here in America, like, some like the legendary war hero movies, they tell them, like, yeah, we're going to have to cut that part out because no one would believe you. He's like, well, I was there. This is my life. I can tell you. Like, well, we believe you. Other people won't.
Golgo 13.
Golgo 13, The Professional. Okay, this already caught my interest. There's a movie called The Professional, and it's really good.
The Professional, 1983. When Golgo 13, The Professional premiered, it instantly stood out, not just for its sharp, noir-inspired style, but for the fact that it was one of the first animated films to incorporate CGI for complex action sequences. Based on the long-running manga about an elite hitman known only as Golgo 13, the movie...
But yeah, I fear that much because of the name Professional.
was a cocktail of espionage, political intrigue, and unflinching violence. Its plot follows Golgo as he's hunted across the globe after assassinating an oil tycoon's son. The story weaves through sniper duels, helicopter battles, and seductions. with each sequence designed to push the boundaries of animated realism. But it wasn't just the stylized gunfights that drew controversy. Several scenes contained sexual content.
Heaven forbid, people learn where kids come from and the fact that we are only one of two creatures in the world that actually enjoys sex.
That many countries' ratings boards considered far too explicit for animation. In Australia, the film was banned for years. In the UK, it underwent cuts to scenes involving nudity and a particularly brutal assassination sequence. Even in the US, where it saw a VHS release, it came with an R rating and edited content. Ironically, these restrictions only heightened its underground appeal among...
Oh yeah, you tell people, here's this great movie. Oh, cool. By the way, there's an unrated version of it, and you're like, oh, I need to see that.
Anime collectors. Today, Golgo 13. The Professional is remembered both for pioneering animation technology and for testing how far animated action could go before running headfirst into censorship walls.
God, the AI voice, it's like, dude, just read your own script. Or chick, read your own script. 1,001 Nights.
8. 1,001 Nights, 1982. Legendary manga artist Osamu Tezuka, often called the god of manga, had a reputation for pushing the boundaries of storytelling. With 1,001 Nights, he took Middle Eastern folklore and gave it a surreal adult twist that baffled censors and enchanted art house audiences.
Well, yeah, because Middle Eastern, mythology is just as violent and gruesome as any other mythology of that time frame. Especially when you look at some of the religions that are in the Middle East.
This was no Disney fairy tale. Tezuka's version mixed eroticism, psychedelic imagery, and political satire, presenting a dreamlike world where sensuality and violence were intertwined. Animated orgies, surreal depictions of desire, and biting commentary on imperialism made the film a lightning rod for controversy.
Oh yeah, I bet a ton of countries like that one. Especially in the Middle East.
Several Middle Eastern countries banned it outright for
Najak.
Religious and moral violations.
Yep, sounds about right.
In conservative markets, even heavily edited versions were deemed unsuitable for general audiences. The explicit sequences, though often presented in a surreal and symbolic way, were considered too provocative for the era. Despite its limited release, the film gained a cult following in Japan and Europe, particularly among animation students and counterculture cinephiles.
Yeah, I'm looking at the art style. I don't really like it. It's that there's a certain look that I just don't like in anime, and this is one of them.
It remains a testament to Tezuka's willingness to challenge societal taboos through a medium many still dismissed as only for children. 9.
Yeah, that one I'm gonna go seek out. Just based off the title, I'm probably not gonna want to see this one either.
Twilight of the Cockroaches, 1987. One of the strangest entries on this list, Twilight of the Cockroaches blends traditional animation with live-action footage in a dark allegory about war, xenophobia, and human cruelty. The story follows a society of cockroaches living in peace in a messy bachelor's apartment, until humans decide to wage an all-out extermination campaign. What sounds like a quirky premise quickly turns
Yeah, it's a pretty dark premise. Oh, look, you have this cute family, and now, because they're cockroaches, they must all die.
grim. The roaches'
Unalived.
society is destroyed in graphic detail, with poison, drowning, and dismemberment shown in unsettling animated realism. The allegory for genocide and forced displacement was clear, perhaps too clear for some. The film was pulled from television in certain Asian markets for its political undertones, and for imagery
Asian? And I thought Germany.
deemed too disturbing for general audiences. Some broadcasters refused to air it entirely, arguing that its realistic extermination scenes blurred the line between animation and horror.
No, wait, no. Japan did do some pretty dark things back in World War II.
In Japan, it became a cult curiosity, often discussed in film schools for its daring blend of live action and animation. Outside Japan, it was more elusive, seen mostly in underground screenings where viewers debated whether it was a fable, a political statement, or a nightmare disguised as a cartoon.
Probably all three.
10th,
The Angel's Egg? Alright, never heard of it. Never heard of it.
Angel's Egg, 1985. Few animated films are as enigmatic or as polarizing as Mamoru Oshii's Angel's Egg.
So polarizing that I never heard of it. Like, I've heard of, Fist of the North Star, Akira, like, heavy metal. Like, I kind of heard of these movies. I think I'm getting what's ahead of me. But, like, never heard of this one.
A slow, haunting meditation on faith, loss, and apocalypse, it tells the story of a mysterious girl carrying a large egg through a desolate, ruined world. She meets a silent, armored man who may or may not be her companion, protector, or destroyer. Almost no dialogue is spoken, and the narrative unfolds through surreal, symbolic imagery. While visually stunning, the film baffled audiences upon release.
Yeah, this has a cool look for being from the 80s. Like, this is, like I was saying, like, the last entry, like, it looked weird. This one actually looks clean.
Religious undertones, including motifs referencing Christian iconography, the flood, and themes of divine abandonment, stirred unease in Japan's conservative circles. Censorship wasn't tied to violence or nudity this time, but to the fear that its content challenged and deconstructed religious beliefs. In some international markets,
It's kind of strange for Japan. I didn't see Japan as a super religious country. Like, some European ones, yeah. Italy, yeah.
particularly in parts of Eastern Europe and South America,
Those ones make sense.
the film was banned or pulled from distribution for religious blasphemy and being unsuitable for public audiences. Even in Japan,
I never get that unsuitable for public audience. It's like, well, the manga already exists. And you guys seen some of the movies that are coming out in the 80s that weren't animated?
it received only a limited theatrical run before vanishing into obscurity for decades. Oshii himself has admitted the film reflects his personal crisis of faith during production, which only deepened its mystique. For years, Angel's Egg was passed around on bootleg VHS tapes among animation students and art house film fans. Today, it's hailed as a masterpiece of surrealist animation, but its history remains tied to the fact that its quiet, dreamlike beauty was once considered too unsettling for mainstream release.
Yeah, but at least this one, it sounds like Angel's Egg at least sounds like it got like its rightful place in the sun. Like, a lot of these movies are still kind of sound like, you might not find them. This one at least it sounds like, no, you'll find this on DVD.
11th Robot Carnival, 1987.
Okay, that's an interesting looking video. Okay, you caught my interest.
Robot Carnival is a fascinating anthology of 9 short animated films,
And again, this looks clean. That looks like an EXO from Destiny right there.
each by a different director, exploring the theme of robots. From slapstick comedy to post-apocalyptic tragedy, the tone shifts wildly. And that's part of what made it so controversial in certain countries. One segment, Presence, depicts a lonely man creating a robotic companion who develops human emotions, leading to his
Chobit. Mom, this is just Chobit. This is inspiration to the great anime.
regret and abandonment of her. Another, Cloud, is a poetic journey through time and death. But the most notorious, Franken's
So, Big O? Gundam?
Gears, features violent destruction and grotesque imagery that shocked censors. In some regions, the darker shorts were cut or heavily edited before release. South Korea banned it outright for its bleak depictions of humanity's self-destruction. The Soviet Union also blocked screenings, citing
Well, the Soviet Union doesn't exist anymore, so who cares?
decadent Western nihilism in its themes. Even in the U.S., the anthology was marketed cautiously, with certain scenes trimmed for early television broadcasts.
See, I get that. Trimming it for television makes sense. Now, cut into the VHS, that makes sense. But yeah, like say, hey, parts were cut out because of TV censorship, that
The
makes sense.
censorship was as inconsistent as the shorts themselves. Some markets objected to violence, others to implied sexuality, and still others to its philosophical fatalism. Over time, however, Robot Carnival found an audience on home video and became a prized find for animation collectors. For many fans, the uncut version wasn't just better, it was essential to understand the film's thematic complexity and emotional range.
Yeah, yeah. That's all. This one actually looks interesting. It just looks like a bunch of animated students were like, we need to make a movie. What if we each directed our own thing, just make the one theme of robots? I'm like, good, go.
12. Lensman, 1984.
Never heard of Lensman.
Based loosely on Doc Smith's
One, you can tell this one never got like a resurgence for the god awful quality of like the footage.
classic space opera novels, Lensman was a bold attempt to merge pulpy sci-fi adventure with anime spectacle. It followed Kimball Kinnison, a young man drawn into an intergalactic war after inheriting the powerful lens from a dying alien. The
This sounds like Star Wars. For Christ's sake.
film combined space battles, alien worlds, and psychic warfare, making it a visual feast for science fiction fans. But trouble came quickly. First, the Lensman adaptation was unauthorized. The estate of
Oh, you idiots.
Smith had not approved it, leading to legal disputes. This meant that in some countries, particularly the United States and parts of Europe, the film could not be officially distributed.
Oh yeah, that makes 1,000% chance. Because you just, like, I could not make my own Harry Potter movie animated series and just release it without like J.K. Rowling's or whoever technically now owns it, like saying go. Like, no, you can't do that. No, you can make like shorts and like reenact scenes. Yeah, go for that. But I cannot like just redo Harry Potter. So if you're saying like, oh, we had no permission for this movie and we just did it, it's like, no.
Copies that did circulate were often in altered or bootleg form. In addition to the copyright battle, censors in the US and UK cut scenes involving stylized violence and suggestive imagery. While far from the most explicit anime of the 80s, it still contained moments, such as psychic interrogation sequences, that were considered too intense for younger audiences. Because
So it's just rated R.
of these combined legal and censorship issues, Lensman became hard to find, gaining a sort of forbidden allure. Anime fans sought out imports and taped TV airings, often trading them through fan clubs. Today it stands as a cult relic of 80s anime, both for its dazzling visual ambition and the strange, tangled history that kept it locked away from wider audiences.
Oh, I bet you it got the legal ramifications got solved though, with the copyright issue.
13. Urusei Yatsura. 2. Beautiful Dreamer.
Oh, so one got through the censorship.
1984. When Urusei Yatsura. 2. Beautiful Dreamer premiered, fans of the original manga and anime series expected
Okay, anime series. Okay, so yeah,
lighthearted chaos, slapstick comedy, and alien romance. Instead,
so Tenshin Muyo. Also weird anime, but really good.
director Mamoru Oshii delivered a surreal, philosophical meditation on dreams, reality, and the passage of time. The film takes place the day before a school festival, but something is wrong. Time begins looping, trapping the characters in a perpetual yesterday.
Oh, we see this a lot in anime. Like Supernatural had it. It's Groundhog Day. It's Groundhog Day.
As they try to break free, reality unravels in ways that blur the line between fantasy and existence itself. While deeply artistic, the shift in tone from comedic hijinks to dreamlike existentialism shocked audiences and angered producers. In Japan, the film had a modest theatrical run, but some international distributors deemed it too strange for release. In certain Asian
Yeah, strange. Christ, I've seen some of the movies from the 80s. This doesn't seem that far gone.
markets, censors went further, claiming its surreal imagery and depictions of alternate realities risked psychological confusion for younger viewers. The Soviet Union outright banned it, citing
No, sure, Soviet Union. Like I said, they no longer exist.
its subversive and non-linear messaging. What pushed censors over the edge wasn't violence or explicit material. It was the idea that the film might influence audiences to question the nature of reality, conformity, and the structures of everyday life.
Can't see it now, but I'm squinting and I just hit a facepalm. It's like, it's an anime. It's a movie. Have you seen some of the books people were reading then?
Despite this, the movie gained cult status in art house and anime circles. Today it's recognized as one of Oshii's early masterpieces, a work that dared to treat animated comedy as a gateway to profound philosophical inquiry, and in doing so, earned itself a place on more than one censorship list. 14.
Okay, The Graves of the Fireflies. This is one I've heard of. But yeah, like, the 80s, just like some of the weird things like you had, like Pink Floyd The Wall, like all the psychedelics of the 60s and whatnot, and then you're like, oh, this one questions reality. Man, bite me.
Grave of the Fireflies, 1988. Studio Ghibli is known worldwide for
Studio Ghibli!
whimsical fantasy, but Grave of the Fireflies is something entirely different. A devastating war drama based on the semi-autobiographical story by Akiyuki Nosaka. It follows two siblings, Seita and Setsuko, struggling to survive in the aftermath of the firebombing of Kobe during World War II.
Yeah, here's the crazy stat for you. The fire bombings did more damage than the nuclear bombs did.
There are no magical rescues, no happy endings, just hunger, illness, and loss. Upon release, the film was acclaimed in Japan for its emotional power, but internationally, some distributors refused to screen it. In certain regions of China and South Korea, it faced delays or bans due to its portrayal of Japanese civilian suffering.
Oh yeah, those countries definitely were like, what the hell? They assholes to us. I don't know what, but like, they would not like Japan seen as poor Japan. Like, they were doing heinous things to people.
A politically sensitive subject. In parts of Europe and North America, television networks avoided airing it, claiming it was too emotionally disturbing for audiences expecting animation to be family-friendly.
Well, that's their own damn fault. Also, I get that for TV airings.
One infamous TV station in the United States scheduled it during a children's movie slot.
Okay, that's just not knowing what you got. Like, this is something Toonami would have done great with. Like, no, you air this movie at like 10 o'clock at night, not 10 a.m.
Only to receive a flood of complaints from parents shocked by its unflinching portrayal of starvation and death. Censors didn't cut scenes. They simply avoided showing it altogether. The reasoning was clear. This wasn't entertainment. It was a cinematic wound, an experience designed to hurt. And that's why it endures. Grave of the Fireflies may not have been banned for explicit imagery, but its raw emotional devastation made it one of the most avoided, and later, most celebrated, animated films of the 1980s.
Also, it's one of the earliest Studio Ghibli movies. But yeah, no, this is just people not wanting to make Japan seem like the not the bad guys in World War II, and not thinking that animation was more for families and kids, not adults.
15. Violence. Jack, Harlem Bomber, 1986.
Well, yeah, that alone is going to get you things. You gotta realize, also in the 80s, you had the Punisher floating around.
Few anime titles live up to their name quite like Violence Jack. Based on Go Nagai's infamous manga, the Harlem Bomber OVA is a brutal, post-apocalyptic nightmare filled with bloodshed, chaos, and scenes that pushed animated violence to its absolute limits. Set in a ruined Tokyo after a massive earthquake, the story follows the colossal anti-hero, Violence Jack, as he navigates a lawless wasteland ruled by gangs. The Harlem Bomber episode, in particular, features extreme gore, sadistic brutality, and sexualized violence that shocked even seasoned anime fans. In Japan,
for the 80s. Seasoned anime fans for the 80s.
The OVA was released directly to video, bypassing theaters and
Oh, for anyone who doesn't know, OVA is like an extra episode. So you have like, it's kind of like a mini movie. It's kind of think like, I'm trying to think of the best way to do it. Like, you know, like you have like the blooper episodes of like South Park, or they put on like DVDs. That's what an OVA is.
entirely. A move that gave creators more freedom, but also ensured it landed in the crosshairs of censors abroad. In the UK, it became a key target during the late 80s video nasty panic, where ultra-violent films were seized by authorities.
No, the UK, a bunch of censoring assholes. Who would have thought?
Australia banned it outright, and several
Not surprised with Australia. A little surprised how much with Australia.
European countries refused to classify it, making legal distribution impossible. The notoriety only increased demand in underground anime circles. Bootleg copies were traded at conventions, often with warnings about its disturbing content. Even today, uncut versions are hard to find in some markets, and debates rage over whether it's a cult classic of unrestrained creativity or simply gratuitous exploitation. What's
The answer is yes to both.
certain is that Violence Jack, Harlem Bomber helped cement the 80s as a decade where animation proved it could be more shocking and more dangerous to censors than live-action cinema. These 15 animated films
Okay, I'm not gonna listen to this AI voice any longer. I'm probably not. If I start doing a reaction and it's an AI voice, I'm just gonna skip it. You know, it's just an annoyance. Like it's a cool list, great topic, but you're not on camera, dude. Just don't type up a script and throw it into a thing. Few of those I might check out. I'll definitely check out like one Heavy Metal, 'cause I think that's from like the South Park episode. Akira, I have to watch. Fist of the North Star, I need to finish. Like I kind of seen parts of it, but most of the movies, like Angel's Egg, seems interesting. Same with the Robot Carnival, but that realistically is it. Yeah, I think it's gonna be a new format. Reactions Monday, Wednesday, Friday on this channel. Videos. Normal videos drop on Tuesday on the main channel, which during football season is going to be Panther Fans React. Thursday's NFL predictions. Thursday Night Football live stream. Saturday night college football. Yeah, that's working well for me. Sunday Night Football and Monday Night Football. But that's it. That's all I have. I'll see you weird people later.